In part 1 of this series, we learned about Alaska Natives' fight to keep their land. In part 2, we'll go to a village that's been fighting to protect one of the last pristine wildlife habitats in the U.S.
You look at the beauty of this land here, right here. There's not too many places left in the world like this.
Alaska Natives are hit first and hit hardest by global climate change. Every single major oil company has a stake there.
We have an obligation to protect that place. And again, it's not just for us, it's for everyone.
We're a family. We all take care of each other. All the grandmas take care of you when you're growing up here.
Arctic Village is home to about 150 Alaska Natives who are part of the Gwich'in Nation. The village sits on the southern edge of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, also known as ANWR. The fight to keep oil drilling off the coastal plain of the refuge has been in and out of Congress since the 1970s.
You're going to have to let us find additional reserves of oil to preserve the national security interests of this country.
The oil company tried to say that development would not hurt the caribou, but they are not telling the truth.
In 2015, President Obama tried to protect the refuge from drilling. But with President Trump in office and a huge budget crisis in Alaska, drilling is now back on the table.
The economic benefits will be substantial and the environmental impacts will be minimal.
But many disagree. Getting that oil could threaten the survival of both polar bears and caribou, which give birth on the northern coastal plain. A spill like Exxon Valdez, which killed hundreds of thousands of animals on Alaska's south coast, would be devastating here.
For us, caribou, it is 80% of a Gwich'in person's diet. It is essential to our culture and our spirituality. So whatever happens to the porcupine caribou herd happens to the Gwich'in.
All the food and supplies that they can't get from the land, including gasoline, must be flown in from Fairbanks, 2 hours away by bush plane, which is why gas here costs $10 a gallon.
So like important staples for us is like coffee. Coffee is important to everybody. 19.20. So $19 for this. Classic roast folders. Bag of dog food is $74. 2 pork chops, $13. We can't afford to buy all our food. Our food comes from the land. This is just extra. We, in a resource state, live in third world conditions.
Alaska has seen billions of dollars of profit since the discovery of the largest oil field in North America at Prudhoe Bay. But dozens of Alaska Native villages have never been equipped with basic resources, like running water.
Ones that benefit is going to be the oil companies. Any economic benefit for Alaska Native villages will be a drop in the bucket. Most Alaska Native villages still live our ancestral way of life. We still hunt, we still fish, we still gather. There's old ancestral ways that have been passed down generation to generation that we still follow. That's our subsistence way of life.
This time of year, it's getting cold out. So what I do here is I cut slices of meat and all that, and I'll hang it here, and I'll build a fire so it can get smoke flavor into it. When you feel that there's enough smoke flavor and all that, we bring it inside and we slice them into pieces and all that, and we'll hang it on the rack. I've been skinning and cutting up caribou 45 years now. I've been doing this basically all my life.
When I'm handling, processing the sukcho, the king salmon, or I am butchering dinjik, the moose, or vatsai, right, caribou, it is a feeling of engaging with my entire being.
This is the way we live. This is the way we live. This is the way it's always been for me.
To me, our way of life is more valuable than any economic benefit. Economic benefit is short-term. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Our way of life will sustain us forever, and this land will sustain us forever.
It's said the refuge could hold between 6 and 16 billion barrels of oil, but nobody knows for sure. The Trump administration has been pushing for seismic tests to find out, but environmentalists say that even the testing could harm wildlife.
Shot 3 the other day on top of that mountain. They're right there in the middle. Last time we were up there, they stopped right there, but maybe they went over.
We don't rely on roads. We don't rely on stores. We rely on our land. So that's where us hunters come in. Just the thought of losing it would hurt. It would hurt bad. If we didn't have caribou, stomachs would be empty, the freezers would be empty, and there'd be a lot of struggling. I'm not gonna go down without a fight.
Arctic Village is just one of many native villages threatened by the oil industry in Alaska. Others are eroding because of climate change or struggling to survive despite oil industry profits. So the question is, are the oil profits worth it if it endangers the way people have lived for thousands of years?
My granddaughters have a right to be who we are as Gwich'in. And I want them to live our way of life.
It's for the kids, the next generations to come, because they're gonna need this. They're gonna want this beautiful piece of country that we have.
People really need to pay attention to what's at stake here, and it's not just an issue that should be relevant to us as Indigenous people, as Gwich'in people, but all Americans. It is public land. You have a say in what happens there. As a Gwich'in woman, there's a lot at stake for my people and for the world. In this next video, you'll meet a young Alaska Native woman who is revitalizing the traditional practices of chin tattooing